Hello, beautiful artisans. Happy Monday. I am so grateful to be here today. I'm so grateful for you. We're over like 1,400 subscribers. I mean, that's okay. That's great, right? I mean, I am so grateful for your comments, your suggestions. I love it when you share, hey, I'm in this part of the world. I mean, that just blows my mind. And it really captivates me because I love other cultures and I love to hear and see how they do their art and what they think and what they're doing. I love to hear what's going on in the art world out there. And so I need to do way more research on that. That's for sure. Now, so welcome to the channel. If you are new, what we do is create with recycled materials, and we repurpose and upcycle and do everything we can to reuse and for the love of our earth. And so now I did a little, and if you are coming back, thank you for coming back. And I'm so grateful to have you. And now, like I said, I love comments. I love to connect. I love to hear what's going on in your part of the art world. So now with that, I have a lot to share with you. I have a thrift shop run that I did. I did it actually over the weekend. I gotta tell you, you know how you just have those couple of days you just peter out right off? It just always happens to me on the weekend for some reason. Maybe I unwind a little bit. And one of my friends, every time she asks me how I am, I say, I'm tired. I feel so bad because I am not always. One of these days, she's going to come back and say, "What are you, Sleeping Beauty?" Because I seem to. It just hits right on. I think because I love going to the thrift shop. It's so relaxing for me. And then when I come back, I just sit and I create and I study and create and figure out how to do things. And when I say study, I mean trying to figure out like a lady artist up at the guild a couple of weeks ago suggested to me to make a lip balm like keychain holder type deal. She goes, you could do keychains or you could do like this lip balm holder. And so it's thrown me into like another dimension. Like I am so excited because I do know I am not. Well, first of all, let me preface this. I am not by means, I'm more of like a little tomboy. When I was a kid, I could jump on a horse and just go, or I could jump on a bike and go. And I love to run and I love to play baseball and all of that. So when it came, my friends were like getting their little purses and their little new hats and whatever it was they were getting. And I had no interest in it whatsoever because I would do all of these things and then I would do my art and that's it. So with that, accessories has not always been on my mind, but I love the idea of my little coin bags being key chains. So I added a little latch to this with a little loop. And it took me some time. Now I still have to add the little snap. And I want to stay with the magnified snaps that you sew on. But they're magnets. And I've been getting them at Walmart. And guess what? They don't have that many of them. Like the packages are small. There's only a couple of pair in there. They're not expensive. They're a couple of bucks. However, I can't seem to find any larger packages or anything like these. So I am going to do research. If you know where to get them, let me know. But this came out just absolutely adorable. I love the look. Now, this is the first one I put the little loop on. And I'm thinking, and I sewed it right in here. Now, whether that's a sewist correction, adequate way to do it, I don't know. But the reason I did it that way is I felt I could go back and forth and do some lock stitches right on the seam here and that it would be nice and secure. Uh, I didn't want to play around with putting things underneath the lining. So I just put it between the seams. And then, I made sure there's 3 or 4 rows of seams up here. So it's nice and strong. And I love this. So this is the first one. And then what an artist was telling me this morning, she goes, Carmela, you should because I had this really funky kind of it's a what can I call it? A makeshift keychain holder on my wrist. It looks ridiculous. And it is time to make myself a nice keychain holder that is maybe a wristlet. Or I'm thinking, and you let me know what you think about this, maybe I bring this loop, like I make it larger. So it just kind of, I can put it right on my wrist. And then this would have a snap. But uh, this would have to have like a click snap to stay nice and closed. Or I could make it half the size because you don't want a big thing hanging on your wrist. So let me know what you think. But that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm at this point where this can be clipped. This is my thought. It can be clipped onto your purse. So I did this one, and then wait for it, because this fabric, I happen to love paisley, and I'm going to tell you why. This was at the thrift shop I went to Saturday. I went to two. No, I went to three. I went to three thrift shops. I didn't stay long at any of them. It was just kind of going in looking for the fabric. But this is a nice medium weight cotton fabric. You get certain designs that you see are classic, you've seen them. You get black and white checkers, you get the paisley, you get the kind of certain kind of flowers, like the little retro flowers. There's certain designs, polka dots, and certain plaids. You will get these, and they're classics. That's what this. That's why I like paisley, because it is a classic, and I never snub my nose at paisley. So I got this, and guess what I did? I started a coin bag with just the paisley. I mean, come on now. Look, isn't that just precious? Now, I haven't finished it. I figure the lining I put in there, I want to make it pop, whatever lining I choose. But with this one, I'm going to put a little keychain on the side too. So I figure I make a number of these coin bags with the keychain simply tucked in the seam and sewn in multiple times so it's nice and strong and it stays on. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to make a smaller rendition where it's on your wrist and you can put your keys on it there. Now, something you've heard from me. Oh, wait, I got to show you the other fabric. This is lovely. Now, I know this sounds odd, but when you buy fabric and when you buy thread, smell it. Just smell it. This is a little tiny bit musty. And the reason is, now it tells me two things. My suspicion of this being vintage, yeah, is totally right on. So this is something you want to give a nice rinse. You could put something like this in your front loader, put it on delicate. Don't make it hot or cold. Keep it tepid, and don't put a lot of detergent because you really don't need. You could just even hand wash this, and I will probably hand wash it and air dry it because it's not a huge amount of fabric. It's gorgeous. I mean, this was the kind, maybe a beautiful little a summer dress. Somebody made a summer dress out of that. I mean, it's lovely. So anyway, I got that. And so I want to make something with this. I'm thinking, oh, this is where I'm going to tell you. No, I do not do cookie cutter and patterns. However, I get the concept and I run with it. Now, Seamworks, that I gave a shout out to. I will give a shout out every now and then to someone who's totally impressing me. And they impressed me because they did these little scrunchies and they did such a beautiful job of showing how they did them, that I was able to just pick my own measure and do it. And I tested two different measures for the elastic. And because my hair is a little thick, I think they were going with 8, or at least most people I was doing my research were going with 8. So I made mine just about 8.5, just because I don't want it to be tight on my head. I want it to be able to wrap my hair but not give me a headache. So I went with 8.5 for the type of elastic that you stretch, and it's about a half an inch. It's not. But I made these, and what they are, and look, I use the vintage um, fabrics, and I'm gonna, one of these is for my neighbor. She wants one, and see, because she saw mine, and it does look cutesy. It looks nice and relaxed. Now, I had a vision of my own rendition of these. So yes, I'm going to make some of these like this for the craft fair. I'll make them like these. I made these just a little bit longer, the bow, and I made this a little bit wider. And like I said, I made the elastic just a little bit longer. So no, this is wider. You can look at the inches. They're like 2, 4, 6, like that for width. And I think they go like 14. No, they go like 20 for the length. And I didn't do 20 for the length. I did not. I was totally under 20. I was probably, whatever I had, to be honest, it might have been 17 in length. It doesn't if it's longer, okay, like if it's 20 inches, you're going to get more of your scrunchie, okay? And if it's not, it like this is not. This is like maybe 15, 16, but it's lovely just the way it is. And so I love it. But then I had this vision in the middle of the night because I was thinking, how can I make scrunchies or hair ties with it's the bow I'm kind of fixated on. So I think I want to do some raw edged denim bows that were also like 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an eighth. It'll be like 1/8 along the edge, so fringe can be out, and then maybe give it some sashiko stitching or a machine stitch, some pretty fabrics like Boro, building a Boro design. So that's and I'm not going to do the scrunchies like this for my design. This is a DIY free, right? So I love the concept totally. I love it. However, with what I'm thinking is to take an elastic, one of these where I used to crochet around these. I crocheted around those. And so I'm going to take one of these, and I'm simply going to, and I'll bring you along with me. I am going to try this out. I'm going to cut out fabrics, maybe like 2, 3 layer. We'll test it out if it's 2 or 3. This is technically 2, so 2 might be just fine. And so some nice designs like this hat. Some nice designs with the Boro built sashiko, and stitch it, maybe machine, and then just tie it on to this elastic. So, and make it longer. So I'm going to play around with that and I'll let you know what I come up with. So there's that. And so these are lovely. And so that's Seamworks. They will show you how to do these with their pattern. And I just simply, I have a few of these cut out like that. It's super duper simple. And I will have those at my art and craft fair because some people really, really like those. So now the other thing I got at the thrift shop this weekend is, excuse me, and you can see over on Patreon, I went up to the guild today and I had papers that were explaining everything that I do there. And the papers were getting all jumbled and shuffled around this and that. And one wonderful lady suggested a couple weeks ago, she's like, get a frame. I think more than one suggested it to me, and I just didn't hear it at some point. This lovely lady, I heard it. She's like, get a frame and just kind of bullet what you do. So, and put it in the frame and stand it up and looks nice and neat. So you'll see over on Patreon if you want to go visit me over there. I may put it on TikTok too, and maybe Instagram. But so because my table looks really nice, it looks professional with that. And I just say at the top, we love our earth, and because of that, right? So we do recycled and inspired and creative, and I say inspired by cultural arts. If cultural art has inspired you, give them credit. Say, inspired by, or if it's your friend, inspired by artist, whatever her name is, and give that, because then someone's inspired by you. They give that. Like, I'm inspired by Seamworks because I just love the way she teaches and I love what she's doing over there. So so I share that with you. So now at the thrift shop, oh, and I'm saying all of that because the frame that I used was like 99 cents. Look, I got these, some of these, there were some free given away here because we sometimes leave freebies for each other. So there were a few that were free here. But there were, most of them I got at the thrift shop for 99 cents and 50 cents. So, and this one I especially love. So, but look, I got these. I'm going to open this up and show you whether so I got these free and for 99 cents. Now, look, I'm telling you, my fine tip markers are coming out because I have to draw. I have to now. Look, these are cardboard. That's what these are, cardboard. And are we lucky enough to have my tape measure next to me? Yes. I mean, you don't even want to see this table right now. I have worked on so many. I sat outside working. I'll show you on the yo-yos. So these are, 6 by probably, I bet you 4. 6 by 4. Yes, 6 by 4. So look, these are perfect because do you have to use canvas every time you do a drawing or a painting? Or guess what? I want to do some fabric paintings. So that means just making like making a landscape, a picture with fabric, scraps. I'm so excited. I can't even stand it. So, but guess what? Look, some of these are like the perfect size. They're like the perfect size. So I'm really psyched right now. And 50 cents. So yeah. Now I have seen these there before. And we do think like too, if you have any printing presses near you or around your town or neighboring cities, sometimes they will give this stuff to thrift shops. So now with that, a couple things I want to show you also. I will be stitching up. Okay, this was our last, I just want to show you, this was our last Kiwandi coin. It still needs a lining. It's a Kiwandi coin bag. Here, I'm going to hold it up so you can see. And we did a really nice job on this one. You can see the center right there is Kiwandi Inspired. So I got to put a lining to that. Now, I am going to also add stitches, like machine stitches. It's okay to add you have your hand stitching, you have your machine stitching combo. That's totally fine. Do you still say Kiwandi Inspired? Absolutely, because your design, the way you're building it, the method is inspired by going around like that, like the Kiwandi, like the city women of India do. Now, this is another one. I had started my stitching. I didn't finish, so I'm going to be working on this one next. So I have 2 more coin bags right there to finish. Oh, and I have, no, maybe not. I have a few more, I guess. This one, this is lovely. So yeah, this one I put a keychain on. That's just a lovely. So we got to finish that. Now, okay, so I showed you the hair ties and the coin bags. I have been doing yo-yos this weekend. Now, I'm loving this fabric. I love, love, love it. Now, it's light and airy. And I'm going to tell you, so some of you already know this. The history of yo-yos really started in southern United States. Because you know what? The temperature, the summers were hot. These were not made with backings. Now, the next one I make, that might be smaller yo-yos. We'll see. Maybe this one, because this one I want to put little ones in the center. However, what's the difference between the backing and not the backing? So the whole reason I've been adding backings to my yo-yo quilts is because we're up here in Vermont. We're up here when typically the winters are very, very cold. I gotta tell you, they're getting super mild. We're getting smaller, smaller, smaller windows of really cold air. And I'm really starting to think, should I make some yo-yo quilts with no backing? Because that's how they did it in the South, because they wanted an airy, very light kind of a quilt. I'm thinking about it, and they're just lovely looking. Either or, they're just lovely looking. So with that, anyway, I wanted to share all of this with you to inspire you. Get your frames at the thrift shops. You know, maybe you got to paint it a little, clean it up, dust it, but use it if, you know, you're doing, you want, come along with me because we're going to be doing fabric work and art also with everything else we're doing. But guess what? Tomorrow morning, we will begin our Kiwandi table runner, Kiwandi inspired table runner. I want a bunch of table runners for the art and craft show. Some will be Boro, some will be Kiwandi inspired, some maybe crazy quilt. I'm going to be honest with you, and some of you already know this, crazy quilt for me. It's an early American, kind of a spin-off kind of influenced a little bit from when Japan came over here in the 1800s to our expedition, our art expedition. It was shortly after that this crazy quilts kind of took off. But I find them challenging because it's like fitting together a puzzle. Now, with the Boro building and the Kiwandi, I pretty much know, like, I'm just following their method, and I love it. It just takes on, like they say, the essence of your soul. and you just follow, you just go with it. Well, I just go with it. Everybody's process is different. So, with that, I hope that you have a beautiful day. We'll be dropping a video in the morning. I hope you have your scraps out and come along with me. We'll probably make it a couple of parter until I'm done with it, but we'll at least have a good chunk of it tomorrow. You'll be able to see because I'll be laying it out. So, with that, you have a beautiful day. Love and light.